right now on 5 on Your Side at 10.
A fitting tribute. One of 2 MoDOT workers killed on duty, honored with a permanent reminder for drivers.
I want everybody to remember James, that he didn't die in vain, that we still love and cherish him.
Workers on strike. Why Senator Josh Hawley is showing his support as area mechanics demand change.
A windy day throughout our area, and until we had the sunshine, it still made it feel cooler than average. Why the winds will settle down tomorrow and will switch from a much warmer direction ahead.
There has to be change so that there's not another Janae Edmonson having to deal with this her whole life.
The family of Janae Edmonson criticizing St. Louis after the crash that changed their lives. Tonight, how city leaders want to make streets safer following Daniel Riley's guilty conviction. We want to thank you for joining us at 10. I'm Brent Solomon. Tonight, local leaders are demanding change following that high-profile case. This week, a jury found Daniel Riley guilty in the crash that caused Janae Edmonson to lose her legs in downtown St. Louis last year. 5 on Your Side's Annie Krall joins us in studio with the effort to step up safety. Annie.
Brent, today I spoke with an alderman who is pushing for safer streets here in St. Louis. We talked about the trial and also the frustration the Edmonson family shared exclusively with 5 on Your Side.
This city is designed for cars to go fast and no regard for traffic laws or signs, which has been proven by Janae's accident.
Now 18, Janae Edmonson and her family sat down for an exclusive interview with 5 on Your Side after Daniel Riley's guilty verdict. The jury recommending he serve 19 years in prison. The Tennessee teen saying she's glad he was found guilty.
But at the end of the day, he has legs. I don't. So he doesn't have to go through what I have to go through just to get back to even walking.
Janae's accident happened last February, but 2 women were killed last month getting hit by a vehicle while walking near Enterprise Center after the Drake concert.
Her case was the tip of the iceberg that started the chain reaction.
What a courageous young woman to sit up there and just tell us her story and really be a catalyst for change in our city.
Alderman Michael Browning is sponsoring the Complete Streets bill, pushing for updated and more extensive safety practices with road engineering focused on people walking or biking. A similar mission to advocates with TrailNet in the St. Louis area, hoping
to get to the point where neighborhood safety, street safety, sidewalk safety is the most important thing that our city can do to keep people safe.
This isn't the first story like this, and I do hope it will be one of the last, because this is the type of thing that can mobilize our entire city to finally making a policy change that puts people first and makes sure that injuries like hers never happen again.
Alderman Browning says his Complete Streets bill is already in committee for the Public Infrastructure and Utility team. They will meet again on March 25th. Brent?
All right, great follow-up there, Annie. We posted our entire interview with Janae and her family on KSDK.com. You can also find it on our YouTube page and on the 5 Plus app on your Apple, Amazon Fire, or Roku TV. Well, we're springing forward tonight. It means those of you in Florissant will hear those church bells an hour earlier this morning. We've got meteorologist Gary Frank now with your weather first forecast.
Yeah, we're going to have to be bundled up as you get out and about tomorrow morning as the sun rises after 7 o'clock now, at least tomorrow morning, because as we spring forward, it's not going to feel like spring at all. It's a little bit colder outside already, but the wind isn't moving this around quite as much. There's actually a pretty decent wind chill at this hour as we have a 5 to 10 mile an hour breeze, but no more gusts. That's where we had gusts over 30 earlier today. That has settled down considerably. 41 feels like 37 right now as we got into the 50s today. And as those clouds have cleared out, we've lost our insulator. All that rain has finally moved out, and as that's pretty much going to allow any heat to escape. So 30 in the city, mid-20s or even low 20s, depending on where you are outside of the city. And it's definitely the coldest morning that we're going to have for another 7 days, and the coldest morning we've had in a while. What that impacts our allergies are going to have, and when we're going to be back in the 70s and feeling a lot more like that spring forward.
Today, loved ones of 2 MoDOT workers killed on the job gathered together to remember them. A driver hit and killed Caitlin Anderson and James Brooks on Telegraph Road back in 2021. Today, dedication ceremony happened for Brooks. There's a new sign along I-70 with his name. His family hopes to even influence state law.
I and the other families don't want any other family to go through what we're going through right now because of the laws. The laws really needs to change. When it comes to highway workers, stricter penalties need to be in place, and we're working on that now with bills at the Capitol.
The family wants to see steeper fines for reckless drivers. A memorial bridge was named in Anderson's honor last fall. Tonight, 2 people are dead after a double shooting near the Grove. It happened just after 1 this morning on South Newstead and Gibson Avenue. Police found a woman inside of a home shot in the head and a man lying on the sidewalk shot in the chest. She died on scene. The man died at the hospital. Police have not identified a suspect. Right now, a man is in the hospital after someone shot him in downtown St. Louis early this morning. It happened around 12:30 on Market Street near the Stiefel Theater. The man was shot in his side. He went to the hospital with serious injuries. If you have any information about either of these shootings, call Crime Stoppers at 866-371-TIPS. Just hours ago, Missouri Senator Josh Hawley came out to show his support for workers on the picket line in Hazelwood. Members of the Teamsters Union have been striking for 2 weeks now. Workers at Greybar are calling for higher pay and changes to their health care coverage. Senator Hawley says these workers were excluded from shared profits because they are in a union.
This company that advertises itself as being St. Louis, having St. Louis ties, come do right by these St. Louis workers. They just want to be included and treated the same as everybody else. To deliberately exclude them because they're in a union, they're doing all the same work as everybody else. They're doing terrific work. They deserve to have a fair wage and be included in the profit sharing arrangement.
Hawley's opponent, Lucas Kuntz, visited those workers earlier this month. We reached out to Greybar for a comment on that strike. We're waiting to hear back. An annual St. Louis tradition bringing beer and seafood lovers out to Maplewood. Schlafly's Stout and Oyster Festival wrapped up about an hour ago at their Bottle Works location. Organizers flew in more than 50,000 oysters from both coasts for this 2-day event. More than a dozen stouts were made especially for that festival. More trouble in the skies. A week of close calls for United Airlines. What Boeing is now saying about January's door plug blowout. Get ready to spring ahead. The effort to keep you safe ahead of daylight saving time.
It just takes a few minutes, but it can save a life on the other end.
A cooler day today as that rain and cloud cover exited, but this still will have an impact on our weather overnight. How cold it gets and when we'll see our temps back in the 70s after this exits.
Developing tonight, an update from Boeing about a door plug that blew out on an Alaska Airlines flight. In a letter to Congress, the company says it cannot find records for work done on that door plug. Boeing believes the records about the panel's removal and reinstallation were never created, even though its own systems require it. The letter comes after a contentious Senate hearing where Boeing and the NTSB argued over whether the company cooperated with investigators. Tonight, the Department of Justice has opened a criminal investigation into the matter. According to the Wall Street Journal, investigators are reaching out to people who were on that January 5th flight. The DOJ is also looking into whether Boeing complied with the previous settlement following multiple deadly plane crashes in 2018 and 2019. A troubling week of close calls for United Airlines. Friday, a major runway at Houston's George Bush International Airport shut down after a 737 MAX 8 landed with a collapsed landing gear and slid into the grass. Investigators are looking to see if the landing gear itself failed. It comes one day after another incident in San Francisco.
The last departure lost the wheel on departure, so we're going to have to shut the runway down.
A United 777 lost one of 6 tires as it took off Thursday morning. The tire crashed through a fence, crushing several parked cars. No one was hurt. Every flight landed safely, the FAA now investigating.
Well, we got to 52 today, but it's our last day of 621 and 603 as our sunrise and sunset. What it's going to be tomorrow, and if we'll see temperatures warm up anymore.
A new iPhone feature has some people wondering if their personal information is safe. Arian Detail verifies how that feature really works.
Apple launched a new iPhone app in December called Journal. It's kind of like a digital diary on your phone. The app has a journaling suggestions feature, which uses data stored locally on your phone, such as workouts, location, media use, and photos, to recommend topics to write about. But viral posts have people concerned about their privacy and safety while using the app. They claim that the Journal app shares your name and location with nearby iPhones.
It allows people to discover you based on if they're nearby.
Verify viewer Aaron asked us if those claims are true. So let's verify. Does the journaling suggestions feature share your name and exact location with nearby iPhones? After reaching out to Apple and conducting our own test of the feature, we can verify that there is nothing in this app that shares your info with strangers. Now, the app does have a setting that allows you to make your phone discoverable by others, but that doesn't share your name or location with strangers either. Here's how Apple says that setting really works. Let's say you and two friends with iPhones go bowling. If everybody leaves the discoverable by others on, then each person's phone will detect that two of their contacts are nearby. Later, the app may suggest you journal about bowling with friends based on your approximate location. Now, if you turn off the discoverable setting, you won't be included in your friends' counts of nearby people. And later, your journaling prompt might just be about bowling, with no reference to friends. We also tested the feature ourselves. The app's suggestion prompts were based on contacts that appeared in our photos and texts in the few days prior. But these recommendations did not include the contact's precise locations in the past or present, or that of strangers. So we can verify, no. The iPhone journaling suggestions feature does not allow nearby people to see your name and exact location. Nevertheless, if you'd like to disable the feature on your phone, you can go to your settings. Just scroll to the Journal app and untoggle the Discoverable by Others feature. With your Verify, I'm Ariane Till.
We welcome your Verify ideas. You can email us at verify@ksdk.com. We'll go ahead and get ready to lose an hour of sleep tonight. In just a few hours, daylight savings time will begin, giving us an extra hour of light. The time change is also a reminder to check the batteries in your fire alarms. Today's St. Louis firefighters and the American Red Cross hosted an smoke detector blitz. This happens every year. They installed dozens of free fire alarms for people throughout the city.
We're giving folks life-saving equipment, right? People don't often think of it that way, but, you know, we just spoke with a woman here, and she said that, yeah, the one in my bedroom's chirping, right? So she'd grown accustomed to that. We want to change that, because if you ever need them, we want them to work.
The smoke detector blitz resumes tomorrow morning. Another one will happen in the fall when daylight saving time ends. Meteorologist Gary Frank now with your weather first forecast. Gary, we were talking earlier about having to manually set some of those clocks. Some are automatic, some are not.
I know. Ironically, I didn't wear my Apple Watch today, so I'm gonna have to set this one.
Yeah.
You know, so it's good timing, right? So we're gonna have to set stuff like this. You know, we were talking about the car when we don't plug our phone in, and then the microwave and
sometimes I
stove.
never change it, and when it's the next time, it's already ready.
This time we got to wait 8 months. Usually I wait to 4 months, you know, and so if you waited that 4 months, you're in good shape now.
Yep.
But anyway, it is going to be chillier tonight and tomorrow morning, so it's going to be easier to sleep in despite that sunrise not being until after 7 a.m. And, you know, just kind of your whole thought process is messed up. It's quiet outside, and weather-wise, it's really nice. Now, I want to note a few things from Paul. This is in St. Charles County, and you obviously see the greener grass and some of the vegetation starting to bloom. This is going to really take a hit tonight because temps are going to fall below freezing enough where it's probably going to kill some of these early blooms. So just keep that in mind. I know that maybe if you've forgotten you have a sensitive plant that's outdoors or you've just kind of been growing it, go grab it or cover it up because, you know, we're starting to see some of this. And I feel it in the air. Trees and mold are up to moderate right now. But overall, that cloud cover has exited. And that was the insulation. So temps have started to fall at 37 in Alton, Edwardsville, 39 and Washington, but 34 Pacific. So it's already cold in some spots. Spots like Pacific that get a little colder anyway, they're going to be in the low to mid 20s tomorrow morning. It is going to be chilly with some frost. So expect those numbers outside of the city to be down a little bit more. But 6:03 was our sunset today as we, of course, spring forward. We go an hour. Normally, your Apple Watch, your phone's doing it already. It doesn't really matter, but 6:22 over 6:02 this morning and 7:18, 7:03 tomorrow. So that's when the sun rises. That's when the sun sets. It's kind of a mood boost otherwise, but I think tomorrow's going to feel a lot warmer, even though the temp doesn't really say that. Because we'll start off cold with a light wind, but then 48 and then 55. Winds are lighter, less breeze overall. It's going to feel pretty good. And I think as a whole, it's cooler, but it's going to quiet down. All those systems moved, and we're going to start to see a switch in our wind over the next 36 hours, and that's going to get this cold stuff out of here, and we'll transition to warmer air, and that sets us up for success the rest of the week. 10, 15, some 25 degrees warmer, and I think overall, it's going to be much milder this week with chances for rain. It really hasn't been all that. It didn't get all that wet in some spots, but we could still use the rain, and I think we'll see opportunities, and then a slight cool down as we go from Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and beyond. So now we just got to find all the devices and we'll check the boxes.
Oh, yeah. Yep. You ready to set that clock? You got to manually do it sometime.
I know. I'm ready.
All right.
I might do it right now.
All right. Well, you ready for sports?
I definitely am ready for sports. We had a loaded day on the St. Louis sports calendar. City SC was up to some more dramatics in Austin. High schoolers were battling for trips to the state Final Four, and Mizzou is trying to avoid going winless for the season in SEC play. We're back with a big sportscast after the break.
This 5 on Your Side Sports Report is sponsored by Telly Tire and Auto Centers, driving your way since 1942.
The last time City SC played a game in Austin, everything was new. It was their MLS debut after all. They won that game and then 4 more in a row for a historic streak to start the franchise. Over a year later, a lot has changed, but drama in Austin is not one of them. Roman Berkey and company coming off a clean sheet in their last match against NYCFC. Rough start tonight, though. Austin gets a header from Matt Hedges. That goes in off the corner kick, 1-0 Austin. City was so close a number of times but couldn't break through until this coming up. AZ Jackson taken down in the penalty box right there, so it's penalty shot time. Edward Leuven steps up, buries it, 1-1, Leuven's first of the year. Less than 2 minutes later, here comes Austin. Julio Cascante past Berkey, 2-1 Austin. But I told you there was drama. We're in extra time. Celio Pompeo's been so good this year, he gets the ball on his foot and converts. City stuns Austin with a 2-2 tie and gets a point on the road.
Celio poses a 1v1 threat. He can take you down the line. He's got a pretty good left foot for being a right footer. He deserved what he got today, and he's been in a good way. I love the determination of the group to fight till the bitter end, and you know, this is what defines us over the course of a season.
Blues up in New York at Madison Square Garden to face the Rangers, and if you watch this whole game, you are definitely a true Blues fan. Rangers scored early, they scored late, and they scored often. New York converts on 3 power play goals. They shut out the Blues 4-0.
Taking flight. Card Spring Training, sponsored by Wood Basement Systems.
Cardinals and Mets at spring training. The good news, nobody got ejected today. The bad news, the Cardinals starter got hit around again. 4 earned runs for Steven Matz in 2 innings, including that Francisco Lindor homer. Cards got on the board late thanks to Thomas Sajaci's first blast with the Birds, but Mets go on to win 9-3. Basketball time, high school first, Final Four burst on the line, heavyweight bout at Vianney. Griffins hosted Sykeston. Ben Karsten for 3 from the corner. Griffin crowd goes nuts. You always have to watch out for Simon Guy at the rim. Big rejection there. Vianney pulled away late. Eddie Smytch with the triple. Griffins win 71-54. They are headed to Columbia for the Final Four. Over at Vashon, that is the standard right there. Championship banners. Tony Irons and company hosted Mexico, a win away from another state trip. How about we start with a bang? Nicholas Randall, look out. Now that is a putback. Wolverines deadly on the break. Trey Williams Jr., that's good for a corner 3. Now some more from Randall. The block on one end and a slam coming up on the other end. Vashon rolls 87-51. The quest for their 5th straight state title continues. DeSmet took care of business against Fort Zumwalt South 53-43 today. The Spartans are going to the Final Four for the first time in more than a decade. They can meet Vianney in a rematch in the Class 5 title game too. That would be pretty fun. Now to Burroughs. The girls punched their ticket to state last night. Now it is the boys' turn. They face Central Park Hills. Big day for Owen Walter. He nails this triple for the Bombers. Senior Ramsey Salem, he wants to go to state to cap off his career. Nice finish. Burroughs wins 65-55. Pee Wee Leonard and the Bombers are state bound. Mizzou Hoops trying to avoid a dubious fate tonight against LSU. With a loss, they go winless in conference play. Looked good early. Noah Carter for 3. Mizzou up 6 at the half. But like we've seen so many times, they collapse. LSU went on a 25-4 run. Tigers had one last gasp, but it wasn't quite enough. LSU wins 84-80. Mizzou goes 0-18 in the SEC this season. Arch Madness check-in. Bradley and Drake played a great semifinal game today. Connor Hickman had 21 for Bradley. That was 3 of them. But Drake wanted to play for the title. Kevin Overton, slam. And then Aiton Wright. This is going to be good for 3. Drake wins 72-67. They will face the #1 seed Indiana State for the championship and bid to the big dance tomorrow afternoon. Shout out to Cardinal Ritter and Chaminade also.
Yeah.
They're also going to state.
How about
We're going to have
that?
a lot of state teams to follow in the Final Four in Columbia in the next week.
Yeah, we know you'll keep us posted. Congrats
Definitely.
to them. All right, Gary, take it away.
Yeah, well, we got to psych ourselves up a little bit for that 7 o'clock sunrise, you know. And we're still gaining 2.5 minutes of daylight, and that's the key for us. It's going to feel a lot more like spring during the work week, so, you know, Corey and I can sneak in a late 9 after work. That's basically what it amounts to.
Well, hey, guys, should we remind them one more time?
Set them forward.
Yep, we lose an hour. That's what that means. Thanks for the company, my friend. Saturday Night Live is next.